Damian Lillard dropped a 60-piece on the Utah Jazz last night at Moda Center in Portland, and it begs this question about whether or not Will Hardy's weakness as a head coach is defense. Because I got to tell you, watching the way that Dame scored those points, he should have had, sure, give him half. Give him 30 points. Jazz win the game by 25. But when you are refusing to play defense, when you have a young center in Walker Kessler, that Will Hardy has not taught him to step up on a pick and roll, that Jordan Clarkson is just not defending the guy coming off of screens who's got 45 points and he just doesn't put his hand up on Damian Lillard threes. It's remarkable to me how bad the defense of this Utah Jazz team is. It is remarkable to me that the Jazz make a bucket and they simply don't run back on defense. They don't go back. They don't run hard. And I don't know how you fix that. And I guess, Jake, this is one of those things where you point to and you say, maybe these are just the growing pains of a first-year NBA head coach.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely be that. I also think that, you have a team that is, by most accounts is young. And I think we can all agree that most of this team is young. And I think that you're going to have nights where they are lazy, where they are not checked in, where they are not where it doesn't dawn on them that, hey, dude's got 30 by the end of the second quarter, maybe we should make it an emphasis to stop Dame, or to at least make it so it's not, an incredible efficiency level. 60 points on 29 shots is just absolutely absurd, bro. I mean, that is top tier. You're garbage. I'm just going to fill it up on you type stuff.
And the thing that really bothers you about the Jazz last night is just the gimme layups.
Yeah.
The Euro step he dropped on Walker Kessler, we were watching all of Dame's buckets before the game or before the show this morning. Listen, that Euro step finish that Dame dropped on Walker, okay, you're not stopping that. That's a beautiful move. But it is inexcusable that you just allow him on a pick and roll to go all the way to the basket for an uncontested layup.
Yeah.
You don't body the guy. You don't try to block the shot. That's the stuff that bothers you. Dame is a wonderfully talented player. There's no doubt about that. But I don't care who it is, Dame, Kobe, Jordan, LeBron, if they're getting free layups, they're going to score 100 on you.
Yeah.
They're too good for that. And I know this sounds like I'm just being a jerk. I promise you I'm not. Can we not at least put a hand up? It is ridiculous to me that you're playing pick and roll, pick and pop offense, and the Blazers were doing that all night long.
Yeah.
And you weren't even putting a hand up. And when I say put a hand up, don't run up to him, he shoots the ball, and then you put a hand up. That's not how you defend the three-point shot in the NBA.
Yeah.
And it is hard to watch that happen. It is hard to watch that happen. I don't know, man. I feel like Will Hardy is a really good coach. I feel like he is going to be an excellent coach, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he runs too hot, and I think there is something missing on defense. And I don't know what that is.
Well, I think that one of the issues that the Jazz have is that some of these guys, I'll just use Colin Sexton as an example. The Colin Sextons of the world have missed time here. And so what happens is they come back and they're looking to prove a point. And then, I just feel like sometimes guys on this team, and it's not all the time, just on any given night, I felt like it happened last night where guys just aren't interested in the team aspect of basketball. Meaning, hey, like that example you used. Hey, Jordan Clarkson, dude, you're defending Dame. He's going from right to left, and he's got a screen there, so you're going to go over the top on him, which is totally the proper thing to do. You're going to go over the top on a guy that can shoot it the way Dame can. But then you're not going to make that extra, step and a half, 2 steps to get to him before he launches that three. And I'm not saying that, JC should be in front of him or anything like that. But what I am saying is, you got to make it so that Dame feels like there's somebody right on top of him at all times, right? Even if you're on his side, let's say, or even if, you know what I mean? You can't allow these guys to just sort of walk around the floor, run around the floor, and do sort of whatever they want in rhythm. Because that's the thing. That's why Dame put up 60 on 29 shots. You notice he was in rhythm in all of his shots. There was never like oh my God, like, what incredible defense, and he just shot over him, or like that didn't take place last night. And I haven't even gotten to the fact that Walker Kessler isn't stepping up on the three. So that's why I say it's not just one guy. Like last night is definitely a team defense, not engaged, not locked in, performance. And I don't know if this is like, oh, well, it's Portland and Portland's not great and we should be able to run them out of their building or whatever the mindset was. And there's people out there saying, oh, well, last year, Patrick Beverley locked up Dame, and then I think he torched Denver 3 games later, or whatever, whoever the hell it was. And then this year, the same thing happened. So credit Patrick Beverley. I don't know who you want to credit, but all I'm saying is that the Utah Jazz did not help themselves last night at all, and they have a propensity, and we've seen it repeatedly, where the big star is going to go for big nights against this team, and that needs to change as soon as possible.
Well, and the other thing I would say is I'm not questioning the viability of Will Hardy as a coach. And the other question I would ask is it the coach or is it the player in these defensive situations? Because I think the other story today is that NBA sources have told us that there's an extremely high asking price for Jordan Clarkson. It's a first, a second, and a player if you want to acquire Jordan Clarkson. Now, listen, we're 2 weeks away today from the NBA trade deadline, and I am told that price is going to remain high because the Jazz expect a much better buying process in the next week. Because with a week to go before the trade deadline, I think that's when a lot of this business is going to get done. But I'm telling you, Jordan Clarkson he just has to be better than that defensively. This is one of the leaders of your team, if not the leader of your team. And when you look at the other guys that are playing and the other guys that are struggling, Malik Beasley's another guy. But what is he? He's a guy that's not playing defense and a guy that's on the block. I think we're asking an awful lot of these guys to play at a high level of intensity when I think we all know they're not going to be here in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's something that I think is a real issue this time of year around the league. There are guys whose minds are in packed boxes at this point waiting to get moved. And I totally understand that. You can't give up 60 points to Dame Lillard on 29 shots. That's in my estimation, Jake, that's a matter of pride.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you got to, and use the cliche saying whatever you want. Yeah. Look in the mirror.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, use whatever cliche saying you want. If you're not embarrassed this morning, if you are Jordan Clarkson and you watch that tape and you're not embarrassed, if you're Malik Beasley, Walker Kessler, you're a rookie. You got to step up on that pick and roll.
That's basketball 101, dude.
It is.
And I'm not trying to be, Mr. Abrasive or Mr. Hard-ass about the fact that Kessler wasn't stepping up last night. But to me, as a big, that's basketball 101 in pick and roll defense. Yeah. Hey, like it literally is playing out in front of you. Oh man, it's not rocket science to see the screen's going to be set by Nurkic up top, right? No, like just to put this into perspective, Nurkic must have been 3 feet, maybe 4 feet behind the 3-point line when you set that screen, and Walker Kessler's at the elbow. Do you know why they set that screen so high? To put the big in no man's land, to make the big make a choice. The difference was Nurkic wasn't rolling last night. Nurkic was not.
He wasn't a threat of any kind last night.
None. Right? So to me, it's like, dude, like, why is this difficult to identify? Hey, I need to be committed to stepping up.
Furthermore, if Nurkic is the guy that beats me, all right, cool. I'm not giving Dame 60 on 29 shots. I'm not doing it. And the guy is a range player. And the highlight you're talking about specifically, which by the way, I would love to play it, but we're not allowed to.
Yeah.
The highlight we're talking about specifically is Jordan Clarkson and Walker Kessler in pick and roll action.
Yeah.
Nurkic sets a very high screen, probably 3 feet above the 3-point line, 2.5, 3 feet. Clarkson goes over and trails Dame, who just steps right into a rhythm three because Walker Kessler's not there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 3-4 instances of that last night. It's just one of those things again where is that how you're going to defend Luka? Are you going to allow
Jeez.
Luka Doncic on Saturday night at the Viv? Are you just going to allow him to take step-back threes repeatedly? Because homeboy will cook you. You think Dame will cook you. Luka Doncic will cook you. The good news is that nobody else on Dallas's team plays defense at all ever.
Right.
Which is the good news. But, again, didn't the Jazz have, I think the Jazz had 30 assists last night, and they lost. They scored 124 points, and they lost. The Utah Jazz had 32 dimes last night. 32 dimes. 32
and
assists.
You lost because you
lost.
didn't want to play defense because, and again, hear me clearly. I'm also not questioning, Will Hardy as a coach. I'm not questioning his viability. That's not the conversation I'm trying to have. I'm just simply having a conversation around the idea that these guys just some nights, and look, it happens for every team, I guess, right? Like some nights you just don't show up. And I feel like last night, defensively, you didn't show up. And the tough part is you to win an NBA basketball game, you got to show up on both ends of the floor. And I know Walker Kessler's strength is blocking shots, but my God, dude, you cannot be that passive and pick and roll. I would almost if I was coaching Will Hardy, I'd almost say to him when I was watching that tape flying home, dude, I would rather have you step up to Dame and force him to pass to Nurkic or whoever the hell it's going to be, then just keep giving up the three. What is the point or the objective there? Because there's no threat coming to the basket on a lot of these plays, right? And Walker is standing at the elbow, which is where he's supposed to be. I'm not saying that's wrong, but you're only supposed to be there until you make that decision, right? So again, this is where I always get back to with Luka, because that's who they're playing next. Luka is a step-back nightmare for teams, right?
Yes,
what do you
is.
see him do? Step back, step back, step back, step back. 3, 3, 3, 3. That's what he does. And so to me, it's okay, if he's going to do that, then I'm going to coach my team. I'm going to prepare my team to say, do not leave your feet. No matter what, I don't care. If we don't leave our feet and he shoots over you a couple times, it is what it is. But you can't leave your feet and bite on that. That can't happen, dude.
Stay on the floor.
Yeah, it can't happen. And by the way, dude, I don't even want to what is it, Saturday they play Dallas?
Saturday.
So Monday on the show, if we got to come in here and talk about the fact that Luka had multiple 4-point plays because guys like Clarkson or Colin Sexton couldn't stay on their feet, that's going to be unfortunate because you will then know, hey, yeah, they lost that game. And I firmly believe that they should be able to beat the Mavericks. On any given night, you should be able to run the Mavericks off the floor.
Especially at the Viv, dude. There's no...
you play way faster than the Mavericks. That's the thing. They've got Luka, but you've got speed.
Look, when you're playing any team at Delta Home Arena, Delta Smart Home Vivint, when you're playing anybody here in Salt Lake City, you should be able to run. And I think the Jazz will beat the Mavs. But anyway, here nor there. The bottom line is, one of the questions I feel like we need to talk about this morning is, do you like Will Hardy? Are you excited about Will Hardy being your coach? Because I am excited about him as a coach for the Jazz, but I think that performance last night should add a sense of urgency to Danny Ainge's job. Mm-hmm. You've got to move Jordan. You've got to move Beasley. I would move Mike Conley. And I was again told yesterday that they've got multiple deals on the table that they just are not going to make right now because they feel like, and one of the other things I think you need to talk about here with the Jazz is that right now the market is in an odd place. You don't have teams, as you have in the past, that are tearing it down and selling everybody. Mm-hmm. Who is that team this year? Who's the fire sale team? There's not one. It's not the Lakers. It's not Houston. It's not OKC. The worst teams in the NBA are not selling. The Detroit Pistons are not selling. They don't want to trade Bojan Bogdanovic by some reports. I was talking to an NBA guy yesterday about Houston. Houston probably should sell some of their young guys. Houston should there's no doubt Houston should trade Eric Gordon, but yet have they? They have not. Are they trading Kenyon Martin Jr.? They're not. Kevin Porter? They're not. You're not winning with the guys you have. Mm-hmm. But they're not selling. That team in the past has traditionally been a seller. The Lakers should be selling. They're not. The Clippers should be buying. They're not. Like, there is an odd place in the NBA trade cycle right now where there's not an obvious team. The Chicago Bulls, again, my NBA guy's telling me yesterday, like, how much sympathy he has for me being a Bulls fan. Because the Bulls should blow that thing up. They should trade Vooch. They should trade D-Row. They should trade Alex Caruso. The Chicago Bulls, according to sources, are telling teams they are not trading Alex Caruso. How is that possible, dude?
Yeah,
how is that possible?
Dude, it feels like there's a lot of teams and really a lot of front office exec type guys around the league right now who feel like, oh, well, we're one piece away. We're like, dude, with all due respect, the Bulls are not one piece away, right? The problem for the Bulls is they don't have a core leadership flow. Like, DeMar DeRozan should be the elder statesman on that team and should be the go-to default guy, right?
Yes.
But they're not doing that. They're messing it up with Zach LaVine. With all due respect to Zach, because I think the guy's great, cool, whatever. Like, DeMar should be the guy. But you look at some of these other teams, like the Rockets, dude. Like, what are we doing in Houston? What are we doing? Because you're not selling, but you're also the worst team in the league. What are we doing?
And that's the other thing that I would say about the Jazz in this whole defense conversation. One of the things you have to worry about is who are the guys on this roster that are going to be here? So if we're talking about Agbaji, we're talking about, Walker Kessler.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they're learning how to play in the NBA. These are their formative moments defensively. And the frustrating thing is watching the Laker game last night. How good are the Lakers defensively when they got their guys? And the thing that stands out about Rui Hachimura? It's not that he's good offensively. That dude busted his ass on defense. Anthony Davis, I think, had 4 blocked shots last night.
Yeah.
And they get a block shot to pretty much seal that win.
Yep.
That's what's frustrating is teams that are, and granted, now the Jazz are a game under 500. I think they're only a half game ahead of the Lakers in the standings at this point. But this is a playoff team that I think is probably
Lakers.
The Jazz are a playoff team that will not make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
And it's because of their defense. And let's see what happens. Today, they're a playoff team. If they make these moves that I think they're going to make, they're not going to be a playoff team. All right. All of our Jazz talk brought to you by our good friends at Quick Quack Car Wash. You know him. You love him. He's our guy, and you can't stop, and you won't stop.
Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you the secret to impressing my neighbors, the wife, coworkers, you name it. I just swing by Quick Quack. It seriously takes 2 minutes, and people can't stop, won't stop checking me out. Getting a clean car is definitely my best life hack. Kids are messy, camping's dirty, but my truck sure isn't.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
And because I see Tanner is here, we can also do this real quick. So one of the things we talked about on the show the last week was Danny Ainge intimidating other NBA general managers.
Mm-hmm.
And we put out a video yesterday on Twitter where we kind of, kept receipts, if you will.
Yeah, we took a victory lap. We decided,
Yes.
Hey, listen, yesterday, national guy comes out and says, oh, there's an edict around the league that if Danny Ainge is calling, you half jokingly but half seriously let it go to voicemail. Oh, well, where did you hear that? Well, you heard it first on the Monty Show 871, 7 days ago. 5 minutes into our show, we started talking about this because Danny Ainge fleeced the T-Wolves, right? The Eastern Conference T-Wolves. And now people are all scared and intimidated that, they're going to get fleeced by Danny Ainge, right? So this, love you, Tanner. Love you, bro. Not even coming after you. But this upset Tanner that we did that. And to me, I'm just like, dude, we're at a point where, you know what? We feel as though maybe not every time, but when you start getting into minutia stuff like that, like detailed reports that we have, we're going to talk about it, man. It is what it is.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's get your comments. Enough of us, more of you.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Will Hardy. Are you excited about him as a coach? Your thoughts on the Jazz. Is Jordan Clarkson worth two picks and a player? Because I'm telling you he's not. Now, I think that asking price is going to come down. I think especially as we move, I think there's a chance Malik Beasley could be traded any moment, frankly. I think they are in a situation where, again, sources told me yesterday night, they have multiple deals that they could make right now just by picking up the phone and saying, all right, let's do this deal. But the Jazz want to hang on, I think, until the last week leading up to the deadline. I think Jordan Clarkson is worth a first and a second. That I would agree with. But if Danny Ainge is holding out, hoping that, hey, I'm going to trade Jordan Clarkson to Milwaukee for 2 picks and a player, I don't see that kind of trade happening. I truly don't. And I think Malik Beasley is a guy that you need to package in a 3-team deal. Those deals are not easily made. But I think you absolutely, and this goes back to, by the way, this goes back to what we've been saying about a month, 6 weeks ago now. The Jazz, Hawks, and Suns had a deal on the table. And Danny Ainge kept that asking price high. He wanted a 2023 first-round pick from the Suns, and the Suns were a little hesitant to do that. So I think there are deals the Suns could make now, or the Jazz could make now, but the Suns don't want to make that deal.
Well, yeah, and I think that, and we're going to get to your comments here, but I think that this ownership thing in Phoenix combined with, some of those teams are just talking about not doing business, like the Lakers not being sellers is I'm not going to say it's shocking, but it is putting a wrench in things. You need, the Lakers are just one of those teams that needs to be active for the trade deadline to flow properly. And them just sitting here doing nothing is kind of, it's not great.
I agree. All right, let's get your thoughts in here. Good morning, Sean Mirzinski. First one in says, been following you guys since COVID started. You guys are the first thing I watch basically every morning. Congratulations on 10,000 subscribers. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
The work you guys put in every day is paying off. Thank you very much. Kanai Johnson, second in this morning, top of the morning. Let's go. Kanai also says, I agree, Sean. This is the only show I can listen or watch. Monty and Jake are the best father-son duo in the state or in broadcasting. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
He also says, don't forget to hit that like button. Yeah, let's go, casuals. Let's go.
Yeah, by the way, while we're on the 10,000 subs thing, all-time record for subs added yesterday. You guys crushed it.
Yeah, that was an amazing day. That was an amazing day. So appreciate you guys doing that. Hit the like button. Giggity says, good morning. How did it feel waking up to 10K? Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Kanai says, Giggity, they hit it during the show. It was great. Yep.
Yeah.
We did. Troy, good morning. So Monty and Jake, what are your 3 targets for the Jazz draft? I think if I am the Jazz, I'm not looking to draft a player in the top half of the first round. I'm looking to trade those assets, and I am looking to get a superstar player. I'm looking to get either the best power forward. I am looking to get absolutely one of the best available talents. And we don't speculate on this show as to who that would be. But I'd love to see this team end up with OG Anunoby. I'd love to see this team end up with a young wing player like that you can really say, okay, this guy can be part of our team for the next 5 years, and he's going to be one of the reasons we win a championship.
And I would tell you that my opinion is I think this team needs to take it step by step, meaning that the draft is coming, obviously, but you cannot sit here and overlook in any way the trade deadline, because I think my opinion's always been this trade deadline will make or break you in the draft. If you execute and you do this thing the right way, you're going to be able to operate in the draft. So if they crush it, right, and they pick up some draft picks, like as an example, that situation he was just talking about, the 3-teamer with the Suns and wanting a 2023 first-round pick. Dude, if you can pick up a 2023 first-round pick, that obviously changes your fortunes in the draft, right? You've already got 3 picks in the first round.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like you have these assets, but in order to really maximize the draft, you have to do well at the deadline.
Yep, totally agree. My hope for the draft is that Danny Ainge 2 weeks and 1 day from now has a minimum of 4 first-round picks in this upcoming draft. That would be mine. Teddy Wayman, what's up, dude? That cold shower this morning was crazy.
It was real.
Woo, Absolutely. My Monty fan says, congratulations on 10K. What's up?
Appreciate
Louis
you.
Capazzo, hello. Troy Cushing. Provo Cougar fan says, 20 degrees and cold, but good morning. Seriously.
You know, there are just some days in
it's
Utah.
winter.
Especially in winter, though, man. There are some days you wake up and you drive to work, especially for all my guys who drive to work early like we do. There are just some days where you're like, you walk outside and you're like, damn, it's one of those days where it's cold and it's just,
I agree. Cock Wrangler
Well,
says, how dare you remove my comment? Well, we don't remove comments. So you're probably complaining about YouTube.
I don't know why they would
With
remove
that
your
name,
comment.
with that name, I'm going to guess. Yeah, I'm going to guess. Lewis says 40-ish in the Jeezy with a light breeze.
Not bad. Not
St.
bad.
George has the luxury of being so much further south.
Yeah, not bad.
That's just me, though. Yusuf says, I am here. Well, we're glad you're here. Thank you. Giggity says, low 40s the last couple of mornings in Phoenix. That's how that hoodie would have been handy. Okay, working. Promise you, by the trade deadline. By the trade deadline, we will have not dropped hoodies yet. I promise you. I'm kidding. Strange Clouds, what's up? How are you? Tyler P. As a Utah fan, I'd love to see San Diego State because we own them every year, so it's a free win. Coming up in 29 minutes, we are going to talk Pac-12 and Pac-12 expansion, Pac-12 TV, and this Comcast situation. We'll talk about that coming up. Lopes fan Gabe, what's up? Morning Casual, San Diego State is no New Mexico State, but they'll do. Exactly. Arlington Bears says, how was the museum? Spectacular. Spectacular. Love the Natural History Museum. My wife surprised me with a membership. We did a date night last night. Thankfully, we picked the perfect night. Thankfully, the Jazz were playing later. But I'll tell you, you get up at 3:50 in the morning.
Oh, dude.
You work all day. You go home. You have a little cold wings left over with the asado.
You're big on the cold wing
Dude,
train,
I love
bro.
them.
You're about it.
I'm out now, though. I had the last 4 wings, the last 4 drumettes. Dude, don't heat them up. I'm telling you, cold asado wings, amazing. But Karn, it was awesome. Thanks for being a member. Chris, Lewis says, don't forget to crush that like button. We agree. I totally agree. RRR says, Luka will drop 60 in the next game. Hope not. Dude. They have a bad habit of giving up big games to superstars.
Yeah, I mean, it's real. I mean, you see it all the time with this team, man. All the time, right? Dame, Luka, Kyrie, the list is, I'm not going to say is endless, but it is long. And I think that I'm not certainly surprised, but that doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it okay that this team, I do feel like lacks toughness. I do feel like a trait that they could really use. Again, speaking of the deadline, speaking of the draft, like this team could use a tough guy. And I don't feel like they have that right now. And I've always maintained that and I don't care who you are, but if someone is burning you, if someone is cooking you for, quote, a 60-piece nugget, you need to give that guy a hard foul. You need to send a message. You need to say, okay, look, Dame, love you, bro, but you've got 30 at the half. That means, in the third quarter, we need to come out and kind of make a statement that we're not just going to allow you to run this whole game and run us off the floor. But that doesn't happen on this team yet. And I think that's because they're a young team. And I think you make a great point. A lot of these guys are checked out because of the deadline's here. So, to me, you have work to do, without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree. And I think one of the more interesting parts about that toughness thing is I don't know that you can teach toughness. I don't know if you can teach it or not. You have to want to be a badass. And one of the things I wonder about Walker Kessler is how mean can he be? Because he loves blocking shots. But if he puts on 10 pounds of muscle this summer and the guy is an absolute shred, is he a meaner player?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's something I'd like to see. Olavi says, who 7-footer or close can defend Dame? Kessler and Mark couldn't. Ben Simmons? It's not that you need to defend him one-on-one. You have to be better in pick-and-roll situations.
Yeah.
Because today in the NBA, it's all pick and pop, pick and roll, pick and switch. Like, you're getting matchups. Walker Kessler, for the next 10 seasons, hopefully, is defending the pick and roll, man. That's going to be his life. They are not going to allow him to chill in the paint. He's too good of a shot blocker. We saw this with Rudy. They're going to try and walk away from the basket. And a guy like Nurkic is the guy to do that. Walker will, I think, improve his education in pick and roll, and his instincts should improve as well. But it's not that you need a 7-footer to defend Dame one-on-one. You need a 7-footer to put a hand up before he gets a clear look at the rim. Because putting your hand up once the ball is at the top of the shot is almost meaningless.
Yeah.
Once an NBA player eyeballs the rim, it's over. He's going to make or miss on his own. You have got to get there and get your hand up to impede his ability to see the rim. That's what you're trying to do. Tyler P. says, Clarkson and Beasley are no defense hero ball chuckers. I think Jordan Clarkson is, and we were having an argument on Twitter yesterday with a bunch of Cavs fans about Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson. In this conversation about should Colin Sexton be a starter in the NBA. Well, first of all, I always say it doesn't matter who starts, it's who finishes and plays the most minutes. But two, Jordan Clarkson's not a starter in the NBA, and he specifically is an example of this. The reason you don't start him is because he is a volume shooter.
Yes.
He's not a passer. He's not a guy that works through an offense. You give him the ball, and you understand it's never coming back. You pass Jordan Clarkson the ball, for better or for worse, he's going to shoot or turn it over.
Yeah.
He's not passing the ball. That's why he's a guy off the bench. That's why he's such a good six-man, because he'll come in and he will stem the tide, because he's going to get his buckets. You know that. Brett Robbins says, what a surprise. A guard lights us up. Same issue we had when Conley and Mitchell, small, tiny guards, even a problem if we get Scoot. Well, Dame's not a big guard. He's not a big guard. The issue is, I'm telling you, it's not a size. It's a want to. It's not the size of the dog. It's the size of the fight in the dog. And the problem is that Jordan Clarkson's not a willing defender. He is not a try-hard defender. He's a guy that'll trail and, hey, what'd you want me to do? I got picked off by Nurkic. He's got that fat ass, man. What you want me to do? What I want you to do is be better than you are defensively. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, is that why Patrick Beverley was able to give Dame a hard game? I mean, Patrick Beverley's not a big dude.
Yep. Sam Locke, good morning to you. Colin Sexton scores 18, but had a minus 12. Exactly. He's not a team player. It's not that Colin's not a team player.
Yeah.
He's having to learn how to be a team player. I don't know that he knows how. He is a six-man. He is a guy. He's flame on. That's who he is. He's not a starting point guard on a championship team, at least not right now today.
I don't think, dude, the truth of the matter is it's not one guy. Like, again, let's not turn this into trash JC and trash Sexton alone. I mean, Conley got beat, Markkanen got beat, Kessler got beat.
This is a team problem.
Yeah.
This is that's why it's not all on the players. It's not all on Will Hardy. But Will Hardy has to make it the only thing, because this team is so good in transition. You get this team out running. If you make them a ferocious defensive team, if you make them a defensive team along the lines of the Warriors and the Lakers, who defend to create offense, that's what this team needs to be. Defend to create offense. Be aggressive in the passing lanes. I don't care if Nurkic has 100.
Yeah.
Dame's not getting 60 on 29 shots on me. He's not. And if he's getting to the basket, if he beats me to the basket, I'm fouling him hard. I don't care.
Which I don't think this team is willing to do. I always tell you guys, hey, we got TV here, SportsCenter on, highlight package runs 3-4 times during the show. Dude, we've watched it 2-3 times. And there are multiple instances. Like in the fourth quarter, the Jazz were sending a double to Dame, right? They were sending a double, and that was different guys every time. Dame is just beating the double. Dame wants it more than you. It just wants it more than you.
It's not that he wants it more than you even. He knows how to expose you. Damian Lillard is a smart, savvy basketball player. Teddy Wayman says 2 days of rest, there's absolutely no excuse for how he played no defense. Have some damn pride and guard like you want it.
That's what I'm saying, Teddy.
That's all it needs to be said.
You know what I mean? Like, and that like Teddy's right, and I think that plays right back into the point you made about how these guys, some of these guys are checked out because they know what's coming. Beasley knows he's getting moved. Clarkson knows. right? Hell, Clarkson initiated the trade me conversation in the sense that, again, he didn't demand a trade, but he said, I'm not signing that player option. I'm not signing that. I'm not opting in.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to hit free agency, so you should move me to get some value. So these guys know what's coming. That said, there is no excuse for what happened last night.
I agree. And never mind. Anton, good morning to you. I feel like JC is a negative on defense. I know the plus minus doesn't tell the whole story, but JC was minus 19 on 30 minutes playing time, while Markkanen was plus 2 in 34. I also think that Jordan had a really tough assignment, but I don't disagree with you on that. Tyler P says, I don't think Markkanen ever touched the ball in the third quarter. 2 of 3. 2 of 3, all of them were at the rim.
Yeah.
Or, 1 of 3, all of them were at the rim. You're not wrong. Because the ball movement stopped. The ball movement absolutely stopped. They came out, and this is another thing that concerns me. Will Hardy out of halftime and out of timeouts.
Yeah.
They're not good. They're not good coming out of halftime, and they're not good coming out of timeouts. That game-winning play the other week against Philadelphia was embarrassing, where Jordan dribbles right into a double, a wild no-look shot that never even got close.
Yeah.
In a game-winning situation. Not good. RR and RRRRR says Sexton and THT doubling Dame was ridiculous. Sexton was low on the floor, didn't raise a hand, and THT just kept running on him and getting fouls. But again, I also think THT's a guy that's making $10 million. I can't say I don't believe he'll be here. I think he's the perfect guy to put into a trade to make it happen, especially when you're hard cap like the Jazz are, right? Tanner says, morning hacks. Morning, Tanner. Morning, Maury in Florida. Hope you're well. Been working morning, so I haven't been doing the after show catch up, but Danny is a beast and will put the Jazz in the best spot regardless. I would agree with that. Tanner says, yes, they need to be better, but this is Dame we're talking about. He's prone to going off like that. When players go off, there's not much you can do about it. Did you watch the game?
I mean, look.
That's crazy. I disagree with that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is something to be said for the best players in the league being in their zone and being unstoppable.
Certainly.
But I disagree mostly with what you're saying there, because I do believe that a hard foul will check a guy. If you send him, I'm not saying to get into some fight or to be likes to fight guy. I'm not saying Jordan Clarkson should square up, right? What I'm saying is, the Markkanens or the Kesslers need to send a message at some point.
Somebody needs to run through Damian Lillard while trying to block his shot.
Yeah.
There is a right way and a wrong way to commit a foul in basketball, and trust me, I'm a big dude. I know how to foul guys in basketball.
I'll drop that motherfucker.
Jake's seen it 1,000 times.
Oh, seen it. I equip it.
But what I am telling you is, when Damian Lillard beats you on a layup, somebody needs to come across and take his body out and foul him hard. Oh, he's a star. You got to respect bullshit.
Yeah.
Excuse my French. What you have to do is you got to put a body on him. You got to take the wind out of his stomach. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
And then let's see how effective he is after that. Let's see.
Tanner says they need to be better defensively, but let's calm down a little bit. No, I'm not going to calm down, because I'm really worried about the young guys and their exposure to this kind of defense.
Yeah.
This is not okay. This is not defense that it is the hallmark of a playoff team.
And listen, if schematically you were good, if Walker was stepping up in the pick and roll, if JC looked like he was doing anything more than half speed chasing Dame around, if they looked like they were giving 100% and they were in the right place at the right time doing the right things, and Dame was still making it, then okay, great. That's what I'd be saying. Hey, I feel like they gave 100% and Dame was just better than you, but that's not how I feel about it.
Yep. Barrington, good morning to you. The more things change, the more they stay the same sometimes. Teams still getting torched by guards, but that's probably to be expected when you still run undersized guards on the perimeter. Could be. Teddy Wayman, it's not the fact Dame went off, the fact we didn't play any effing defense. I love that I can hear it.
Yeah.
I love that I can hear it, Teddy.
Knowing Teddy, I can hear that totally.
Bless you. Let everyone else but named Damian Lillard beat you.
Yeah.
Again, don't guard Nurk. Don't care about Nurk on the pick and roll. Care about Dame.
Was it that Nurk was 35 feet away from the rim that had you worried, Walker?
But it is something that
Good
you
Lord.
have to work on. You have to. The young guys in this league struggle with space, like understanding who you are, where you are, and who you're checking.
Can you do something for me?
Ben Simmons is not somebody I'm worried about on the screen and roll.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about it. I'm going to attack the ball handler in that situation. And if Ben somehow rolls to the basket, I'm going to go ahead and have somebody else rotate behind me and help.
Right.
That's my job.
Yeah.
But by the way, I'm not even going to do that hard because he can't even make a layup at this point. It's in his head.
My only thing with your point there, though, about these young guys, like Walker Kessler, just as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're damn near halfway through the season, bro. Like
More than halfway through on the schedule.
Like, I understand he's young. I get it. He's a rookie. And I understand that's, hey, he's a rookie, young guy, still learning. Totally get it. I'm with that. I understand that. But at some point, I mean, this is like the guy that comes into the break room at the office every day and spills stuff all over the microwave, right? And it's like, all right, dude, you've been here 6 months. Like, I think you need to figure out that's not okay.
Hey, our standard here at Dunder Mifflin is that we don't blow up pasta in the microwave and leave it.
Right?
Hey, man, you're going to need to go. But this is...
Like, Dwight needs to walk in there and kick dude's ass so he'll step up in the pick and roll.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to at some point, and this is a leadership question as well, because the coach can go to Walker Kessler 1,000 times. Like, last night, I don't know how many of you saw the Warrior game. Steph Curry was so pissed at Jordan Poole for taking a terrible three-pointer. He threw his mouthpiece and got ejected.
Yeah.
That should send a clear message. Is Jordan Poole going to change? Probably not. Is Jordan Poole going to win a championship? Not with Golden State, because they're going to move him because he doesn't fit their culture. What culture do the Jazz have? And right now, I would think they don't have a whole lot.
Yeah.
I would think they don't. Riley O'Brien says, good morning. He's no Andre Bargnani, but he'll do. Andre Bargnani. Love it. RRRRR says, we could have tried NAW, but didn't. That dude is so far in the doghouse, I'm not sure he'll ever come out.
I don't even know why. I don't understand it. I don't know. Like, again, it almost makes me wonder, is dude nursing an injury? Is he low-key hurt and they don't want to put him on the report or something? Which, again, another thing I wouldn't understand. Like, I just, like, NAW last night is the perfect guy to guard Dame. Now, again, I know, hey, he's young. Dame probably gets him off the floor, right, with some pump fakes and stuff, gets him in trouble that way. Totally get it. But why not? You're seeing Dame torch your team. Why not try everybody?
Yeah. I agree. Tanner says, did Mrs. M force you to go to that museum, Monty? No, I actually enjoy it quite a bit.
And what museum was it again?
The Natural History Museum.
Yeah,
where we went
cool.
and saw the dinosaur exhibit.
Oh, yeah.
It was cool. Jeremy Bolton, good morning, too. How's everyone in Monty Town? Teddy Wayman, how the F do you do that ice bath? Freaking awesome. Teddy Wayman,
dude,
has one of those hard plastic tubs on his patio, fills it up with cold water and ice, and sits in it. And I'm just like, dude, you're my idol.
Next level, bro.
I don't know how you do that. Brady Cook, who's a member. Good morning, Brady. Who do you guys think would be a good fit besides Sean Collins that could also be a fit for the Jazz? That's it. Again, those are impossible questions for us to answer. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think John Collins, we won't know what kind of player he is until he leaves Atlanta because he's not a great player right now. I mean, he's a guy that there's just no demand on him. There's no ask of him. That team is Trey. That team is DeJounte. That team is Bogdan Bogdanovic. That team is Clint Capella. Like, he's like not high on the list offensively.
Yeah.
But that's why you see him pull off a game a week because there's just not a lot of opportunity for him there. I don't think you find out who John Collins is until they trade him. But I love John as a fit on the Jazz. Football 50 in 60 seconds. Red Heart Norvis. Don't need to get Hero for JC. Jazz can develop Sexton for that role. Well, Tyler Hero and Colin Sexton are two totally different players. Instead, get a young shooting forward, athletic defender that has a decent mid-range. Yeah. This team is desperate for a power forward. Lauri Markkanen's a 3. He's not a 4. Yeah. This team is desperate for a power forward. Unbelievable. They need one desperately. Christopher Leo, good morning. Unrelated, but I can't believe it's been 3 years since Kobe died.
Oh,
crazy.
Bro, Yeah,
Crazy, man.
It's nuts.
Just crazy. Let's see. A couple more before football. 50 Chase, good morning to you. A lot of people would say Laurie isn't the answer when he was on the Cavs Bulls. All he did was stand around. That's exactly what he did. And as a Bulls fan, let me tell you, he was frustrating because he didn't want to hurt guys. He didn't want to dunk on dudes. He wanted to stand at the perimeter, dribble a couple times, and shoot a three. So he was easy to defend. He's impossible to defend right now offensively. I think you're exactly right. I think you are exactly right. Brady Cook says, who do you think would be a good fit for the Jazz besides John Collins? Yeah, I don't know. RR says Rudy Hachimura would be a good fit. I totally disagree. I think you have that guy 5 times already. Tyler P says OG Anunoby. Tanner says, Monty, are you a dirty basketball player? No, I am a physical basketball player because I can't keep up with you. And if you're going to dribble around me, I'm a pretty good trailing shot blocker. But if you're going to go by me, I'm going to grab you or I'm going to foul you hard because that's what I've got. And eventually you're not going to drive by me. I see it all the time, man, when I play basketball, which I don't much anymore because I'm just fat and old. But when I play basketball, you foul a guy hard, he doesn't want to get fouled hard again.